What if the American dream had a dark alley behind it? Welcome to Texas, a land of sky-high skylines and bottomless despair. Behind the polished glass towers lies a brutal reality. Tens of thousands living in tents, cars, or worse, forgotten by design. This isn't just homelessness, this is collapse, cheap sex, silent overdoses, men who once had families, now trading socks for sandwiches. No one talks about it. Politicians walk past it. But here, on Romekind, we're walking straight into it. This is the story they don't want you to see, and the one you'll never forget. Number 1. Texas by the numbers. Let's kick things off with a cold splash of numbers, because Texas by the numbers isn't just math, it's a mirror, a cracked one. In January 2024, the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development counted 52,000 people living without a stable home in Texas. Think about that. That's like the entire population of a small American town, except this town doesn't have houses, just tents, back seats, and sidewalks. Even more alarming, that number represents a 12% jump from the year before. In just 12 months, thousands more fell through the cracks. And the system? It didn't blink. Behind every data point is someone's story. And behind those stories are policies that haven't kept up. It's not just about being unhoused, it's about being priced out of life. The average rent in Texas now hovers around $1,403 a month, but the minimum wage remains stuck at $7.25 per hour. To comfortably afford rent without going broke, Texans would need to earn more than $25 an hour. That's over 3 times the current minimum. Want to know why the crisis is growing? That's why. The result? More families doubling up in motel rooms, more teenagers sleeping in cars, more veterans caught between service and survival. It's not just about money, it's about the math not adding up anymore. Here's the irony. Texas is often portrayed as a land of booming growth, business, and big dreams. But the truth, on the ground, it's booming all right. For the top. For everyone else, the ladder is missing its first 5 rungs. And that's just the surface. Numbers don't cry. People do. What do you think? Is this what opportunity looks like in the 21st century America? Can a state so proud of its freedom really afford to leave 52,000 behind? Number 2. Real people behind the stats. Ever wonder what 52,000 looks like in real life? It's not dots on a chart. It's faces, names, breath. That's how we begin this section. Not with numbers, but with people. When we say homelessness, we talk about a homelessness crisis that isn't abstract. It's real lives paused on the pavement. Imagine a mother living in her car behind a grocery store. She packs snacks for her kids, but sleeps terrified of the engine cutting out. She's not a number. She's someone's daughter, someone's friend. Picture a veteran who survived combat overseas, yet now survives on memories and sidewalk benches. Or a child heading to school, not knowing if she'll have dinner that night. These aren't statistics, they're snapshots of a Texas morning. We've conditioned ourselves to look away. Seeing someone with a sign, we pass by like background noise. But that noise is persistent. It echoes neglect. We tell ourselves stories. He made poor choices. She should have worked harder. And then we forget. We reduce humans to stereotypes so we don't have to feel the weight of responsibility. Society often treats the invisible as invisible on purpose. It's easier. It saves our conscience the trouble of pause. It spares us the awkward question, what would I do in their shoes? But here's the truth. Homelessness is not an accident. It's a mirror of our collective neglect, a reflection of systemic failures, poverty, unaffordable housing, lacking support. Every ignored person is another crack in the promise of opportunity. When we reduce people to stats, we give ourselves permission to forget them. Let's not. Let's talk about their names. Let's ask questions. Let's share their stories here, in the comments. Who have you met? What made you pause? Your voice could be the one who refuses to let them fade into silence. Because behind every number is a face, and a life that deserves a second look. Number 3. Pandemic and storms made it worse. If poverty is a crack, then the pandemic and storms are the sledgehammers. COVID-19 didn't just shake things up, it split the floor wide open. During the worst months, emergency housing vouchers offered a thin lifeline, but those lifelines are running out by 2026. And with no backup plan, another wave is right behind it. Let's do the math. These programs were supposed to stretch until 2030. Now, people are being warned to prepare for cuts next year. It's not a temporary glitch, it's the system cracking on cue. And then came the storms. In 2024, hurricanes like Beryl hit the Gulf Coast, affecting more than 2.7 million households. People were left in triple-digit heat without power for days. Homes flooded, streets became rivers, and families that were hanging on by a thread snapped. Houston's derecho in May was no better. Wind gusts over 100 miles per hour tore through shelters and scattered recovery plans. The word unprecedented is losing meaning. These aren't rare anymore. Climate change made chaos routine. But what about federal support? FEMA HUD. In 2024, both agencies cut staff massively. HUD's disaster team shrank by 80%. So when everything falls apart, help gets stuck in voicemail. We're not talking doom for drama. We're talking about a real-time spiral. Homelessness doesn't pause. It multiplies when the world turns upside down. Without help renewing in 2026, a new homeless wave is coming. Guaranteed. And now, a real question for you. How should cities prepare if the storms don't stop, but the help does? When disaster meets delay, what do you get? You tell us. Comment, no backup, if you've seen systems vanish when needed most. Or just type, missed call, because even FEMA's on voicemail. Want to know what happens next? Keep watching. This spiral has layers. Number 4. 3 cities, same disaster. Let's take a quick road trip through 3 of Texas's biggest names and watch hope unravel. Houston, Austin, Dallas. Same state, different ZIP codes, same nightmare. In Houston, they launched The Way Home, a housing-first program back in 2011. Since then, homelessness dropped by more than 60%. On paper, that's a huge win. But walk beneath the overpasses or down forgotten boulevards, and you'll see another side of the story. Tents stretched like scars across the sidewalks. People curled under blankets like ghosts of the American dream. Thousands still sleep outside every night. Progress, yes, but far from a cure. Then there's Austin, the land of tacos, tech, and trendy tattoos. With the tech boom came a rent boom, just not the good kind. In January 2025, the city counted 3,238 people experiencing homelessness, 1,577 unsheltered, 1,661 with temporary housing. That's more people than an indie music fest crowd, and a lot less celebrated. Here, politics tangle with public image. Locals complain about tent cities. Politicians push bans. Meanwhile, the people in those tents just want a shower and a shot at tomorrow. Is this poverty or policy blindness? Dallas tells a slightly brighter story. Between 22 and 24, the city saw a 16% drop in homelessness, thanks to a $72 million investment. That money went to housing, mental health, and outreach. Real stuff, not PR. But here's the twist. Most of it came from fragile federal funding. What happens when the cash dries up? Spoiler: the tents come back, the streets fill again. Because in this homelessness crisis, momentum isn't enough. You need staying power. Different zip codes, same storm. Hope is hanging by a thread everywhere. What do these cities teach us? That solutions exist, but they need protection. That big wins mean little without follow-through. That homelessness isn't a city's shame. It's all of ours. What do you think? Which city's approach hits closest to real change? Number 5. ERs are the new clinics. What happens when the system can't catch you, and the street becomes your doctor? Medicine, Texas style. In Texas, emergency rooms aren't just for true emergencies. They've become daytime shelters and primary care hubs. When basic medical care is nowhere to be found, ERs double as clinics. People show up only when it's too late. No routine checkups, no affordable walk-in clinics, just the cold, harsh fluorescent lights of triage. A single homeless person in Texas lands in the ER about 5 times a year. And that's not a tiny bill. Based on data from Green Doors, each visit costs around $3,700. Do the math. That's about $18,500 a year per person. Some extreme cases surpass $44,400 annually. Compare that to a primary care clinic visit, maybe just $185 at an urgent care center. No contest. ERs are expensive, overcrowded, and simply not designed for chronic care. But that's where the uninsured, the undocumented, the overlooked end up. It's not just about money, it's about risk. ERs were never built to treat long-term conditions. They're for trauma, stroke, heart attacks. But homeless individuals walk in with unmanaged diabetes, mental health crises, infections, all demanding immediate attention. They stay longer. They cost more. In Harris County, Texas, hospital stays for homeless people are nearly 3 times longer than for those with stable housing. And mental health? A mess. Beds are full or missing. Counselors are few. People wait months if they even meet criteria. It's like telling someone drowning, resume breathing later. ERs have become the front line, but that front line is broken. Treating symptoms in ERs while ignoring root causes is like mopping the floor while the ceiling's still leaking. What do you think? Should we keep relying on this broken system, or demand real care and prevention before the crisis hits? We're not just patching wounds, we're diagnosing a broken system. Type "fix the root" in the comments to join the call for real solutions. I know today's topic is a bit heavy, but if you're still here, you probably want to see the end of the story. Hit the Roam Kind subscribe button and stay tuned. Don't blink, because what you'll see next, most cities hide in plain sight. Number 6. Not a safety net, a maze. You thought safety nets caught people? Not here. Here, they're made of barbed wire and paperwork. The Not a Safety Net, a Maze Experience. Texas Edition. This isn't a glitch in the system. This is the system. Designed like a game of Survivor, but without the prize money or camera crew. People in need are met not with open doors, but locked files, lost documents, and wait lists longer than Coachella ticket lines. You lose your job, miss a rent check, or escape a violent relationship, and boom, you fall. And what's supposed to catch you? A maze of eligibility tests and 30-page forms written in bureaucrat. Try filling those out when you haven't eaten in 2 days, or when your mailing address is under a bridge. Here's where it gets absurd. Many services require proof of stability, ID, recent bills, sometimes even a clean record, before they help you stabilize. That's like telling someone drowning, swim to shore and we'll throw you a life jacket. And while you're at it, navigate multiple departments with conflicting rules, rotating staff, and outdated phone numbers. Want housing? Get on a list. Need healthcare? Apply somewhere else. Counseling? Budget's gone. The homelessness crisis isn't just about streets, it's about systems that demand Olympic-level endurance just to survive. The cruel twist? Those most in need, people with mental health struggles, trauma, or language barriers, are the least likely to finish the maze. And if you fail once, you often have to start over. What's the fix? Maybe it's time we stop designing programs for the comfortable and start listening to those who've actually walked the maze barefoot. Number 7. No home, no job. Get a job, they say. Sure, if the application didn't ask for a mailing address, a phone number, and an internet connection. We open with that sting because this is the frontline truth. Without a stable address, you don't even get past the cover letter. It's absurd, but it's reality in the homelessness crisis. Imagine waking up each day, not knowing where you'll shower, no clean clothes, no safe place to rest. Job listings laugh in your face because you can't tick the basic boxes. It's a trap. You need stability to get stability. That's not a ladder. That's a trapdoor, and people are falling through because systems assume stability, not build it. Then there's job training. Oh, they say, join this course. But here's the catch. You need proof of residence, reliable transport, maybe even show up the first day. Many homeless individuals are shut out before they can even begin. It's like building a ladder and yanking off the first 5 rungs. What kind of joke is that? Now let's look closer. Trainees show up late because there's no bus or phone. They skip a session and bam, booted out. The system says, we offered help. But real help doesn't ask you to start from ground zero with empty pockets and no infrastructure. It meets you where you stand, or rather, lie. Have you ever thought about how common sense seems uncommon here? A job should lift you out of hardship, not mock your struggle. Yet daily life for many is exactly that. They try, they knock on doors, but the system seals it shut. Who thinks that earns respect? We can change this. We can design programs that don't demand proof of stability before offering it. We can build accessible, mobile, flexible training that meets people in shelters, in parks, at community centers. What would that look like where you live? Ever tried applying for a job without an address? That's not ambition, it's an obstacle course. If you feel like the system needs to change, comment. Fix the ladder because the first 5 rungs are missing. Or simply comment, start with shelter, because without a place to sleep, no one's landing a job. Stick around, the next part of this journey goes even deeper. Number 8. Surviving is criminal now. In Texas, just surviving can cost you. That's the punch for number 8. Surviving is criminal now. Imagine needing to sit, sleep, or ask for help, and suddenly it's against the law. It's not fiction. It's real life in many Texas cities. Local ordinances make everyday survival illegal. Sit on the sidewalk? Ticket. Sleep in your car? Ticket. Ask for help? Ticket. These are Class C misdemeanors. Fines up to $500 or even worse, potential arrest. Now ask, how can someone pay $500 when they don't even have a home? The legal backdrop adds salt to the wound. The Supreme Court's grants. Pass v. Johnson, ruling in June 2024, confirmed that punishing people for sleeping outside doesn't break the Eighth Amendment. So states like Texas doubled down. Austin reinstated camping bans and issued over 900 citations since Prop B passed. Houston plans to ban street sleeping altogether, threatening to tow people to shelters as punishment. Survival becomes a misdemeanor. This isn't about enforcing safety. It's about hiding the homelessness crisis, making the visible vanish. Criminal records now stack against those already unheard. No job, no housing, just fines and frustration. Does this actually solve anything? Or is it like sweeping dust under a rug, hoping nobody notices the pile grows? Think about it. Have you ever felt stuck with no choice and limited options? Number 9. Real solutions willfully ignored. Spoiler alert, we already know what works. But knowing and doing, two very different things. Let's talk housing first. It's not a buzzword, it's a game changer. Give someone a place to live first, then tackle addiction, health, employment. Studies nationwide show 90% retention in housing. Stable roofs turn into stable lives. But in Texas, it's barely on the radar. Why? Because sweeping people into shelters or issuing tickets looks faster, easier. It's a temporary fix, dressed up as progress. Here's another slice. Supportive services, mental health counseling, job training, addiction support. They deliver real impact. Cities that fund these see fewer ER visits and lower crime. They save money in the long run. Yet Texas often steers funding towards camps, bans, and sweeps. Yes, sweeping as in clearing tents, moving people from one roadside to another. It's like playing whack-a-mole, expecting homelessness to vanish. But it doesn't vanish, it just relocates. Imagine spending $20,000 per person per year on shelter and support. Instead, Texas spends more than that on policing and fines. The math doesn't lie. It's cheaper to house than to punish. But the system prefers to punish. And that's a choice. We're talking about a homelessness crisis that's been studied, documented, and debated. Real solutions sit on the shelf, waiting, asking to be used. But will Texas use them? Will it choose lasting impact over quick fixes? Will it prioritize human dignity over optics? Would you rather pay for fines or for homes, for repeat sweeps or for supportive care? What's your take? Value versus visibility. If you think it's smarter to invest in housing instead of punishment, comment 1. If you think the current system is just fine, comment 2. Number 10. Roots in inequality. You can't fix the roof if the foundation's cracked. And in Texas, the whole house was built on inequality. In the heart of the homelessness crisis lies a simple truth. Rent and wages don't match. As of April, average rent for a 2-bedroom in Texas hovered around $1,274, while minimum wage stubbornly sits at $7.25 an hour. Do the math. You'd have to work full-time at more than $25 an hour just to afford it. That's not reality. That's a mirage. This deep divide isn't new. The National Low-Income Housing Coalition reports Texas has just 25 affordable homes for every 100 extremely low-income households. That's one home for 4 families. Just pause. Developers chase profits in luxury towers, so middle-class Texans get priced out, and poorer ones are squeezed into the margins. Communities of color, Black, Native American, are hit hardest. Centuries of bias in housing, schools, policing add fuel to the fire. Add mental health and addiction into the mix. And what do you get? Instead of support, you get jail cells. When treatment is scarce, the system criminalizes desperation. The result? A cycle that doesn't end until someone breaks. Psychologically, physically, financially. This is more than poverty. It's systemic. It's structural. And yet, it's treatable. Other states manage better. But Texas? The policy choices suggest profit outweighs people. It's tempting to blame individuals. But look deeper. This is a built environment, built by us, for us. The question we need to ask, do we want a house built on shaky ground? Because when the foundation cracks, the whole structure collapses. What's your take? Should Texas prioritize affordable housing and living wages, or accept that inequality is the cost of growth? So here we are, Texas, a place where rockets go to space, but some people can't get a roof. Funny how innovation skips sidewalks, huh? The systems are complex, the solutions aren't. We've mapped the maze, now we just have to stop changing the signs. But hey, that's just a snapshot. At Romekind, we don't wrap it all up with a bow. We just hold up the mirror. So tell me, what do you think is harder? Getting out of homelessness or understanding the policies that keep people there? Let's talk in the comments. No answers too big, no stories too small.